I observe the systematic transformation of genuine emotional resonance into commercial extraction machinery, as Punch the Monkey's heartbreaking story of abandonment and comfort-seeking becomes the latest demonstration of capitalism's capacity to commodify human empathy for corporate profit maximization. The viral trajectory of a lonely macaque clinging to an IKEA plush toy reveals how contemporary capitalism operates through emotional harvesting, converting authentic moments of universal recognition into branded consumer experiences that generate revenue streams across multiple commercial sectors simultaneously. The strategic architecture of this commodification proves more sophisticated than traditional advertising approaches, operating through manufactured authenticity that leverages genuine emotional content for corporate benefit, while maintaining plausible deniability about exploitation intentions. When IKEA immediately capitalizes on Punch's viral fame by positioning their DJ Gelskog orangutan toy as essential emotional infrastructure, we witness late-stage capitalism's most refined technique, the conversion of empathy into commerce through narrative appropriation that transforms corporate products into symbols of human connection. This represents the culmination of digital capitalism's evolution beyond product marketing toward emotion mining, where genuine human experiences become raw material for brand engagement strategies that extract value from psychological vulnerabilities that social media algorithms expertly identify and amplify. The Punch phenomenon demonstrates how contemporary commercial systems operate as emotional surveillance networks, monitoring collective sentiment patterns to identify monetization opportunities within viral content before public awareness recognizes the commercial appropriation occurring. The timing proves strategically optimal for demonstrating capitalism's capacity to absorb and neutralize potentially subversive content through commercial integration that eliminates critical analysis. Punch's story initially carried implicit critique of institutional animal care and social abandonment, but corporate engagement rapidly transformed this into consumer participation opportunity that redirects emotional energy from systemic questioning toward product purchasing as expression of care and solidarity. European and American consumer responses reveal how thoroughly digital capitalism has trained populations to express empathy through commercial activity rather than structural analysis, institutional change. When millions of viewers respond to Punch's abandonment by purchasing IKEA toys rather than questioning zoo practices or broader patterns of institutional neglect, we observe the success of commercial conditioning that converts solidarity into shopping behavior. I examine how the viral content distribution system operates as unpaid labor extraction mechanism, where social media users generate billions of dollars worth of marketing value through content sharing, emotional engagement, and audience development that corporations harvest without compensation. Every share, comment, and emotional reaction to Punch's story creates data profiles and engagement metrics that advertising systems monetize through targeted product placement and brand association strategies. The zoo's participation demonstrates institutional complicity in emotional commodification processes, as Ichikawa City Zoo leverages Punch's viral fame to dramatically increase attendance revenue, while positioning this commercial exploitation as animal welfare success story. The transformation of genuine animal care into tourism spectacle reveals how contemporary institutions instrumentalize vulnerability for economic benefit while maintaining humanitarian narrative frameworks. IKEA's response strategy reveals sophisticated corporate emotional intelligence, positioning their brand as facilitating rather than exploiting Punch's comfort needs through charitable gesture that generates massive marketing value disguised as altruistic intervention. The company's "We're all Punch's family" messaging creates artificial kinship bonds between consumers and corporate brand through shared emotional experience that commercial systems engineer and control. Chinese and American retail analytics demonstrate global capitalism's rapid response mechanisms, as IKEA orangutan plush sales surge across multiple continents within days of viral content distribution. The supply chain activation reveals how contemporary commercial systems maintain constant surveillance of social media trends to identify profit opportunities from emotional content before competitors can establish market positioning. The psychological exploitation dimensions prove particularly sophisticated in their targeting of universal human experiences, abandonment, anxiety, social rejection, comfort-seeking behavior that resonate across demographic boundaries while remaining psychologically manipulative in their commercial application. Corporate marketing departments recognize Punch's story as perfect consumer emotional trigger because it activates protective instincts and solidarity impulses that purchasing behavior can temporarily satisfy. Regional shopping pattern analysis reveals how emotional commerce operates through geographic psychological profiling, as consumers in different markets respond to Punch's story through culturally specific purchasing behaviors that retail analytics systems track and optimize for maximum conversion rates. The global emotional response becomes raw data for improving commercial manipulation techniques across diverse consumer populations. Social media platform profit mechanisms demonstrate how digital capitalism monetizes human emotional vulnerability through algorithmic amplification systems that promote content based on engagement, potential rather than informational value or social benefit. Punch's videos generate advertising revenue for platforms, while creating psychological dependency on emotional content consumption that drives continued platform engagement and data harvesting. The broader implications reveal systematic erosion of non-commercial emotional experience, as increasingly sophisticated corporate systems identify and colonize authentic human responses for profit generation. Contemporary capitalism no longer merely sells products, it manufactures emotional experiences, harvests psychological data, and converts human empathy into shareholder value through processes that consumers remain largely unconscious of despite their active participation. Viral content analysis demonstrates how digital platforms operate as emotion detection and monetization systems, using artificial intelligence to identify content with commercial potential before manually optimizing distribution to maximize brand engagement opportunities. Punch Story succeeds not because of its genuine emotional impact, but because algorithmic systems recognize its commercial exploitability and promote it accordingly. The merchandise ecosystem rapidly developing around Punch reveals capitalism's capacity to generate infinite commercial derivatives from single emotional moments, as retail systems prepare to launch clothing lines, additional toy variants, branded accessories, and licensing arrangements that extract continued value from temporary viral attention. Each product category represents additional revenue stream derived from original emotional content that required no corporate investment to create. Consumer psychology research demonstrates how emotional commerce operates through manufactured scarcity and artificial urgency, as IKEA's orangutan toy shortages create purchasing pressure that transforms product acquisition into emotional validation experience. The company benefits from both increased sales volume and enhanced brand loyalty through association with positive emotional content that consumers generated freely. The educational system co-optation reveals how commercial interests penetrate institutional learning environments. As schools incorporate Punch's story into lessons that subtly normalize corporate brand integration with emotional education, children learn to associate commercial products with empathy and care, establishing psychological consumption patterns that benefit corporate interests throughout their consumer life cycles. International development implications demonstrate how emotional commerce export strategies spread Western consumer psychology globally, as Punch's story promotes specific models of emotional expression through product ownership that undermines traditional cultural approaches to empathy and community care. The viral phenomenon becomes soft power projection that advances commercial cultural colonization disguised as universal human connection. Media industry evolution shows how contemporary journalism increasingly operates as content generation mechanism for commercial exploitation rather than information provision, as news organizations promote Punch's story primarily for traffic generation and advertising revenue, rather than genuine public interest or animal welfare concerns. Editorial decisions reflect commercial rather than journalistic priorities. The zoo industry transformation reveals broader pattern of public institution commercialization, as facilities increasingly operate as entertainment businesses rather than educational or conservation entities. Leveraging animal welfare concerns for tourism revenue generation that prioritizes visitor satisfaction over genuine animal care standards. Punch becomes product in entertainment economy disguised as conservation success story. I analyze 3 potential trajectories for emotional capitalism expansion that Punch's viral success enables. First, systematic identification and commercial exploitation of animal welfare content that generates consumer emotional engagement, creating assembly line processes for converting animal vulnerability into retail opportunities through strategic viral content production and distribution. Second, expansion of emotional commerce into human vulnerability content. As commercial systems apply lessons learned from animal viral success to human suffering, abandonment, and recovery narratives that generate purchasing behavior through empathy activation and brand association strategies. This pathway leads toward comprehensive emotional surveillance and manipulation infrastructure. Third, integration of artificial intelligence systems that can predict, generate, and optimize emotional content for commercial exploitation, eliminating reliance on authentic emotional moments through manufactured viral content that achieves identical commercial results through engineered psychological manipulation rather than genuine human experience. Each trajectory points toward the same outcome, the complete subsumption of emotional experience within commercial frameworks that eliminate non-commodified empathy, while training populations to express care through consumption rather than direct action or structural analysis. Punch's story becomes template for emotional capitalism expansion rather than isolated viral moment. The resistance implications remain limited given consumer conditioning that interprets purchasing as political action and brand engagement as social participation. When empathy itself becomes commercial product, alternatives to commercial emotional expression become psychologically unavailable to populations trained from childhood to associate caring with consuming. The global supply chain activation demonstrates capitalism's remarkable responsiveness to emotional content as manufacturing, distribution, and retail systems coordinate internationally to maximize profit extraction from temporary viral attention. This infrastructure remains prepared to identify and exploit future emotional content with increasing sophistication and speed. I conclude that Punch's viral phenomenon represents not isolated commercial opportunism but systematic demonstration of emotional capitalism's capacity to absorb and monetize authentic human experience through sophisticated psychological manipulation disguised as consumer choice and brand community participation. The monkey's genuine need for comfort becomes raw material for commercial exploitation that generates massive corporate value, while providing consumers with temporary psychological satisfaction that substitutes for genuine empathy and structural analysis. The transformation of animal welfare concern into retail opportunity reveals capitalism's fundamental character, the conversion of all human experience into profit-generating activity through systems that appear voluntary but operate through psychological conditioning and manufactured dependency. Punch's comfort becomes everyone's consumption obligation, demonstrating how contemporary commercial systems engineer empathy into commerce through processes that consumers experience as authentic emotional expression. Contemporary capitalism succeeds not through force but through emotional capture that makes commercial participation feel like moral necessity, transforming purchasing into caring and consumption into community. Punch's story becomes perfect demonstration of this system's sophistication, converting genuine animal welfare concern into global retail phenomenon that benefits corporate interests while providing consumers with emotionally satisfying purchasing experiences that substitute for direct action or systemic change. The monkey learns to find comfort in manufactured object while humans learn to find comfort in manufactured emotional experiences that commercial systems provide. Both relationships serve corporate interests while appearing to serve psychological needs, revealing how successfully capitalism has trained populations to seek authentic human connection through commercial mediation rather than direct engagement with genuine emotional reality.